Hi everyone, my name is Cheryl Shirley and I'm the lead teacher of technology here at the Leo Academy Trust. I'm going to be taking you through how to use Kahoot today. So all you'll need to do first of all is go to the Kahoot website, which is kahoot.com. And that will bring you to this home screen. Now, if you're a teacher and you want to create an account, you can do that here. If you're a child, you don't necessarily need an account to be able to play Kahoot. But if you want the students to create Kahoots, they will need to have a login. So it's kind of up to you how you're going to use it with your students. But to play, you do not need an account. They can just click that blue button that says play, and then it will create a code for them to sign up with. I'll show you a bit more of that a bit later on. Now, when I sign in today, I've actually got the Kahoot Premium version at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just quickly take you through the differences between the Kahoot Premium and the regular Kahoot. So the kind of features of the free version of Kahoot is that you can still have the class size games, so the children can all play. And there's also still those the distance learning tool at the moment where it's a student pace challenge, so the students can play at their own pace. So that is all included in the basic package. The other thing about the basic package is that all of the questions that we'll see today, the multiple choice ones, are part of the free version. And I believe you can still insert pictures into the free version, but you don't get any of the analysis that I'm going to go in and show you later on. So it's a very basic tool, the free version, but still really, really useful and still really engaging to your students as well. Okay, so you can see here that the basics things are all ticked here, and the premium version, you'll get lots more for your for what you pay for. So that's kind of that. So I'm going to go ahead now and log in. And you'll see that once you're logged in, you are able to access loads of already pre-made Kahoot quizzes. Now, the idea of Kahoot is obviously that it's this free Once you're logged in, there are many things that you can do with Kahoot. So I'm going to go and click first for this Discover tab. Now, the Discover tab will show you already pre-made questions that people have generated. Now, my advice would be really careful with this because Kahoot is an American company, and I find that when I look through the kind of Discover tab, I do find lots of mistakes as well. So just be careful if you are going to choose one that's already there, that's absolutely fine. But it's really important that you do just check them to check that they're suitable for your students, but also that they're actually correct. So here you can search, find me a Kahoot about. So you can think about, I think that these are really good because it's a nice place to start. So if I want to find a Kahoot about fractions, I'm going to type in fractions. And you'll see here now that it's already now given me some to kind of start with. So let's go for this one here. And you can see now that I can look at all of the questions. And also, I just want to check, as I said, there could be some mistakes. I'm going to show the answers so I can check that these are actually correct as well. Okay, so I'm going to just go down, have a look. This is available in both versions, the free version and the premium version. And if I'm happy with it, all I then need to do is literally press that play button. And I have two choices on how I can play this. So if I'm in a classroom with my students, or I'm live in a lesson, maybe I might be on a Meet call and I'm using the lesson live with the students, I suggest that you use this teach version. Now that's the live game together. So that's where you're able to do it all together. It's in live mode. You can see who's winning, that kind of thing, all at the same time. So that's that version. The other version, the self-paced learning mode, is where you assign a challenge that has a certain deadline and the children can play it at their own pace, and then you get the kind of report at the end to say who's completed it. So they are the two versions. So you can either have the live game where you've got all the children in the room being able to play together, or you've got the self-paced mode where the children are able to play at their own pace, and then it gives you kind of the results at the end. So there's the two choices to play. So say we were going to have this Kahoot live right now. I'm going to press teach. And then you have two choices in the way you're going to do this. So if you're very lucky and you've got devices, everybody's got a device, you can choose this classic mode. And if you've got a shared device, so maybe you've got a group of students but only one iPad or one Chromebook or whatever you've got, you use this team mode here. So I'm going to go for the classic one-to-one mode. You also get the choices, and again, some of these are just for the premium version, is you get this kind of personalized learning approach where the players are able to practice the difficult questions after the game. So if they get any wrong, that you're able to turn that on so that at the end they will be able to practice afterwards. And I think that's only available in that classic mode. You can also do it so that there's a nickname generator. So when the children are playing, it does ask them to put their name in. If you want to avoid kind of rude nicknames, then you can use this friendly nickname generator. I tend to just ask the students to make sure they just put their name, nothing else. It's about creating that climate for them to make sure that they're doing that sensibly. You can then change the lobby music. So when you first log in, this really annoying music comes on. You'll get used to it, but you can change that if you want to. You can also change the order of the questions. So again, if you've got students working on one-to-one devices in a self-paced mode, you can randomize the questions as well and the answers, and you can make sure they're not copying one another as well. And there's just loads of other things that you can do there. So I'm going to go for just the classic mode. And you'll see now that I'm just going to turn that down. There's that really annoying music you'll get used to. But you'll see now that it now asks the students to type in a game pin. So like I said earlier, the students don't actually need an account to be able to play Kahoots. So they go to the Kahoot homepage, they press that blue button that says play, and it will ask them to type in a code. And this is the code that they will type in and put their name in. You can also do that through an app as well. There is a Kahoot app that you're able to download from your Play Store or from your App Store. So same thing again, they just press the button at the bottom that says enter pin, and then they enter this pin into it here. What you'll see then is when the students start joining, all of their names will come up in this bit here, and it will tell you the number of players. So if you're in a classroom environment, you'll be able to see who hasn't joined and isn't in yet, and you can wait for them to be able to join. If they're taking too long or there's a problem with their Chromebook, but you don't want the whole class to have to wait, when they start playing the game, the pin will appear at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you. I'm going to join this Kahoot quiz just so you can see what it actually looks like when the children actually play. So I've got my app here. I'm going to enter the pin. So you can see now that I've appeared, and on my screen it says that I'm in. I've got a green screen here. Okay, so you can see that I'm ready to go. Now, once everybody's in and you're happy, you can press this start button. And the questions are on the screen, but not on my phone at the moment. What is equal to 1/2? And then you've got all of the choices. And then on my screen, all you need to do is press the correct answer. Okay, so what is equal to 1/2? There we go. And it says that now one person's got that right. And you can imagine when you're playing when you're playing this with a big group of children, you'll see that who's got this right, who's got this wrong. Okay, you'll be able to see kind of and the idea is to try and get it done quickly as well. So the quicker you do it, the more points you get and the more competitive it gets. So you can see then if they did get it wrong, this could be a really nice kind of teaching point for you to then not carry the game on. The children can't do anything. They can't move on until the teacher presses the next button in this live game. So there's a really good opportunity for you to have that talking discussion about, how they got it wrong. Now, as the teacher, if you're actually in the room with the children, you're able to then walk around and see so you can see I've got it correct. So I've got a green screen on my device. But if the children get this incorrect, it will come up with a red screen. So just at a glance, you'll be able to see what children are getting this right and what children are getting this wrong. And that's why you're kind of in the lesson. And then you can get the kind of more detailed analytics at the end. So I'm going to carry on. Now I'm going to get the next one wrong, just to show you what it looks like. How much of the pie is red? So I'm going to go for that one, get it wrong. And you can see now that's what it looks like when it's incorrect. So you'll be able to see that when it's incorrect, it will go with a red screen that you'll be able to see. Now, between each one, this scoreboard comes up. So again, you can imagine that when there's lots of students, you'll be able to see that kind of competitive nature because the points will be going up and down, children will be swapping around. You kind of get tips sometimes on how you're getting on. So mine says at the moment, we believe in you. So you get these kind of motivational messages on your thing as well. And it's also telling me that I'm on the podium. Now, I wonder why, because I'm the only person playing. But you can see that it's really kind of engaging for the children in that sense, because you've got that kind of element of competition. And if everybody's getting all the answers right, it really does just come down to time. So that's really important as well, that you it's the fastest finger almost. Now I'm just going to skip through. I'm going to finish the quiz because I think it's important that you see what happens at the end. I'm just going to press any button, see how right or wrong I get things. I'll just finish this off. You can see that at the bottom there is the game pin. So if anybody gets kind of cut off or you've got any kind of technical problems, they're not completely kind of left on their own, because they're able to then enter the pin and join in again. We're nearly there. Last question. There we go. And at the end, you'll see now that it tells me the podium. So it comes up, you get all the music that comes on, and it tells you who's the winner. So that's kind of how the actual game works itself. But you can see now as the teacher, which is what I've got up at the moment, kind of the teacher version, you'll be able to see the results of your children. Now, obviously, there's only me playing at the moment, so it's quite difficult to actually show you the benefits of this, really. But it will give you a full report on how the children have done. And again, this is only in the premium version of this, but you can see that I got 41% correct in this. And you can see now that in my kind of analysis, it shows how many players there were. It shows what the most difficult questions were. So it analyzes that entire class's Kahoot quiz, and it will generate for you as the teacher the questions that were the trickiest. So the ones the most children got wrong. So usually there's only 1 or 2 questions in here usually, because obviously, again, it depends on the number of students that you've got and the content that you've got. But it also gives you that's a really good tool, so that then the next day when you're doing that fractions lesson, you know that's something that you've got to recap because that child has got that wrong, or a group of children have got that wrong. Now, you can also see what children need help. So these are usually large numbers of children that are getting a lot of questions wrong. Okay, so the question was out of 12, and I sort of did okay. I got 7 wrong, but it was enough to kind of not say that I need help as such. And then it also tells you how many didn't finish. So if you're doing that self-paced mode, that's really good, because what child gave up and didn't carry on, or what child in your class gave up and didn't carry on. So really nice way, and you can access this again afterwards. So it's not that this has now disappeared as soon as you come off this, but you'll be able to get this in the reports tab that you've got at the top here when you log in. Okay, so that's how the kind of the report section works, really. So that's kind of how Kahoot works as a player and as a teacher at the end. But what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to show you how to make your own Kahoot. Because like I said, like sometimes the ones that are on there are not necessarily always what you want. And it's really, really simple just to create your own. And again, you can do this in both versions. You can create your own Kahoots. So I'm going to click that button that says create, and I'm going to click new Kahoot. Now you'll see here then the basic of what we just did a minute ago has just come up. So I'm going to enter a title. Now my class has been learning about Titanic this term, so I'm going to make a Titanic Kahoot because they'll like that. And you can also you can also have a cover image, which is the one that you'll see kind of before you play. So I'm going to put in Titanic. There we go. You can put a description. Let's find out how much you've learned about Titanic. You choose where to save it. Now I am going to save it to my Kahoot. You can. It depends if who you want to sort of who you want it to be visible to. If you want it to just be you, or you don't mind sharing it in that kind of Discover platform. So if you press everyone, it's then available in that Discover platform that we just discussed. And then you can choose that lobby music again. And there's loads of cool ones to choose from. I'll just play you a few. That one. Okay, so that's kind of the simple parts of just setting it up. Once you've got it set up, you're then good to go and start putting the questions in. Now, if you wanted to, you are now able to import your slides into this as well. So it's kind of an integrated part of your lesson. So if you just wanted to kind of add that in, like a little poll or a quiz or a little bit at the end, you could do that and have your entire lesson available in Kahoot, where the children are able to work their way through. The other thing you can do is that if you wanted to put your questions into a spreadsheet, you can then import your entire spreadsheet, and it will help to generate, it will automatically generate into a Kahoot quiz. So there's a template here that you can press, and you can directly enter in your questions here. So if you didn't want to do it the sort of fun way, I suppose, and you just wanted to get all your information in, then just absolutely do that there. Okay, and you can follow these instructions to how to do it. So you just type your question, answer 1, answer 2, answer 3, answer 4, and your time limit, and then you pop in your correct answer. Okay, and then you can upload that directly to Kahoot. Now I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it the fun way and show you this kind of way to do it. So we know that we're doing our Titanic quiz. Now, the first type of answer that you're able to put in your Kahoot is a multiple choice for up to 4 answers question. Okay, so I'm going to start with, what year did the Titanic sink? You can then drag and drop an image from your computer. You can select one from the library, or you can post in a YouTube video if you wanted to. But I'm going to go just for an image. I'm going to put Titanic in again. I'm going to go for that one. And then I can put in my answers. So while that's loading up, 1911, 1912, 1913, 1914. And then all you need to do is when you've got the right answer, you're just going to click that tick to tell Kahoot that that is in fact the correct answer. Now you can then choose time limit. So you can do anything from 5 seconds all the way up to 240 seconds, depending on what you're trying to achieve out of this, really. It might be that the children need to do something a bit more kind of detailed than just answering a question quickly. So you might want to allow more time to answer the question. So I'll show you on some of the other questions that we'll do in a minute. But for these ones, I would say 20 seconds is probably a good amount of time. And if all the children have answered it quicker than that, the game carries on. So that's absolutely fine. So you then have the answer option. So you can either have that single select or the multi-select. Now the multi-select is a premium feature where they can answer multiple answers. They can have multiple answers before they submit. But for this purpose of this, I'm going to go for a single select. There's only one answer for this. Okay. And once I'm happy, I'm then just going to click add question, which will go to the next question. Now you get a kind of a variety of questions that you're able to do. Now, if you're using the free version, you only get the quiz and the true or false. You don't get any of the other features. So just be aware of that, depending on whether you've got a subscription or not. If you're a Leo school, your subscription will be premium for everybody from September. But if you're not a Leo school, that is something that you'd have to consider when you're sort of looking into Kahoot. We're going to go for a true or false question now. So this, again, very, very simple. You've got that true or false. The Titanic hit an iceberg, true or false. Now, again, you don't have to put an image if you don't want to. I'm not going to for this one. And I know that that's true. So I select the correct answer and then I go to the next question. Then the next one, I'm going to go for a type answer, which means, again, that's when you kind of might want to give the children a bit more time to be able to actually type in an answer. So what company was the Titanic a part of? Okay, and then you type in the answer. Okay, and then you might want to, if you're doing an answer like this, you might want to add other accepted response. So for example, I might take out the capital letters because I know that children might not do that. I might put one where there's a capital letter at the beginning, but then not. So you just need to put in all of the kind of answers that are acceptable. Now I'm going to give them a bit longer to do this because it involves a bit of typing. So I'm going to give them 120 seconds to get that done, a couple of minutes. Actually, maybe not that long. Let's go for 90 seconds. Okay. And then you've got those alternative answers the children have to type in to be able to get correct. And then next question. So this one, I'm going to go for, so I'm going to go for another quiz question this time, but this time I'm going to show you, I'm going to do a who is this question. Okay, and I'm going to go to the image library and I'm going to type in Captain Smith. And I hope there's a picture of Captain Smith from the Titanic. There we go. And I'm going to crop, so I can crop this picture just to get him in. There we go. And then what I want to do now is, you can see here on the right hand side, there's this image reveal. So it means that it will come really, really slowly onto the screen. So again, it just makes it that element of just being a bit trickier for those children. I'm going to go for 5 by 5. And you can see here, this is how slowly it will reveal in the question. And then I can put in my answers. And I just select the correct answer again. Okay, so you've got that kind of option of an image reveal as well. Really good for kind of geography quizzes and things like that, when you're revealing countries and things. Just adds that element of a bit more difficulty to it. Now, the next one we're going to do is a puzzle question. So that means that the children will have to select the answers kind of in an order. So I'm going to put in order these events. Now, what you need to do here is you need to put the events in order, in the correct order, and then they're randomized during the game. So I'm going to start by putting in them in the right order here, so as the correct answers. So the first one, the ship was built in Belfast. The second one, it began its maiden voyage Next one, it hit an iceberg at 11:40 p.m. on April 14th. And then the ship sinks, killing 1,500 people. There we go. So I've now got it in order. Again, I might want to choose an image just to kind of make it look nice. And then the idea is that when this comes up in a random order for the children, they'll have to select the different colour to indicate the order of the events. And again, this is a premium feature, this one. So this is not something you can get on the free version, but is a premium feature. And then the next one, add a question. Now, this one is a really good one because you are able to create like a poll and find out what the children think about something. So let's go for this one. Do you think having more lifeboats would have saved more people? And then you can just have a yes or no. Yes. No. You might want to choose an image of a lifeboat. There we go. And then finally, the last one, which I think is quite good now, it's a new feature, it's only just come in, is that you can actually put your slide directly into this as well. So now I could give some information about it. So I might put something like, laws have changed as a result of the Titanic disaster. I'll just put disaster. You can't have many words on this. And then it says they recommend a short piece of text. It was made compulsory for ships to carry enough lifeboats for every passenger on board. There we go. And again, I can choose another image. There we go, that's a good one. And there we go. So I'm just going to preview that, show you what it looks like. So this is kind of the slide that you've now got So once after you've answered that question, you can then, there's a really good teaching point then. So a lot of information for you to go through with the children as well. So we've now generated all of our questions. So we're going to click that button now that says done. And it says now, yay, the Kahoot is ready to be played. And now you can host, share and play it. So this is your kind of opportunity now to kind of, you can test it, to check that it's what you want and you're happy. You can see what it looks like. So you can see what it looks like either on a mobile or what it looks like on a computer. There we go. So you can actually look and see what it's like. So the one here is the children's version, and this is the teacher's version. There we go. So you can just check that it's all how you want it to be. Just going to show you this kind of type answer one now as well. And all of the answers then come up on the board. So as well, that's a really good feature. And you've got that image reveal. Some children will probably do this too quickly. So this is this puzzle one. So you can see now that this is in a different order to the ones that we typed in. Okay, so we can now put it in the correct order. So it's a drag and click. Okay. And when you're done, you have to press that blue button that says OK. Now this would obviously look really different in the classroom because obviously you've got more people playing, but you can see how many people said what. This is a really nice discussion point there as well. And then this one is saying look up. So this is where your slide actually comes in. They don't need to answer a question, but it's a really good time to look at the teacher and actually have a chat about this. And then your podium. And then that all comes up on your screen as well. So that is generally that part. Now I'm going to come back to this tab here that shows you about the Kahoots ready to play. So you have then the choice here now where you can play it straight away. Okay, you can share it with other people, so you can integrate it straight into your classroom. You can email it, you can use it on Microsoft Teams, you can tweet about it if you really want to, or you can just type in the Kahoot user directly as well. So there's loads of different ways. You can also copy this link and send it to anybody that you want to, or you could pop it on slides. It's just completely up to you how you want to do that. I do like the Google Classroom option. Another thing I like to do is sometimes I just tend to put the pin onto the slides so the children can just access it straight away. But yeah, so that's kind of that part. Then the other thing you can do is if you're not ready to play it and it's one that you want to just save for later, you just click done. And that will bring you back to your home screen again. Okay, and you'll notice now that all of the things that you have made or created are now sitting within this tab here that says Kahoots. Okay, so if you ever want to find it again, you just come back to your home page and you go to Kahoots, and all of the Kahoots that you've done before are here sitting and waiting. Whether you finish them or not, even if you're still in the middle of editing them, they will all appear here. And you've got this My Draft section just here that shows you the ones that you've drafted but haven't completed. Hopefully that's given you a bit of an overview on what Kahoot is like now. I think I've covered most of the basics now. Remember, it's just the difference between those premium features and those free features. But I think the free version is pretty decent, really, for a program that kind of for something you can still definitely get going with it with the free version. But I think the premium version just gives you that little bit more analysis, which and those different question types, which essentially will be a lot better in the classroom. So that's how Kahoot works. And I look forward to seeing you using it in your classrooms. Bye.